This is a big one, bringing in the national headliners that you don't get normally, this many people in one weekend.
Yeah. I think it's going to be great for Lafayette and great for comedy, and I hope people can support it. Glad to have you. I'm Carter Simino, host of Acadiana Cast Presents. If you want to get into the podcast game, content creation game, it's all a game, folks, but we can help you win it. Go to acadianacast.com to learn more. Wherever you are in your content creation journey, we can help you out. A full turnkey service for making the best quality content right here in Acadiana, servicing the whole South Louisiana area. Once again, go to acadianacast.com. Make sure to like, subscribe to wherever you're watching or listening to the show so we can help grow this show and get it out to a wider audience, get some bigger and bigger guests. But we have a great one today. It is our friend JP Leonard from Lafayette Comedy. JP is a friend of the show, and he's one of the most important people for the comedy scene in Louisiana. He's a stand-up himself, so he knows the game, but he also is just such a fan and wants to put on not only local comedians, but also give people here in Louisiana access to some big national touring comedians. He's had folks like Mark Norman come in before, Shane Gillis, Tom Segura, Nate Bargatze, all kinds of great comics over at Lafayette Comedy, and he's here to talk about the upcoming Lafayette Comedy Fest, the inaugural Lafayette Comedy Fest, happening August 7th, 8th, and 9th at Gator Cove and Club 337. We're going to talk all about that, talk about JP's upbringing down in Morgan City, and the world of stand-up comedy today, and the trials and tribulations of having to put on shows. So hope you guys enjoy it. Acadiana Cast presents JP Leonard. Who's headlining this festival?
So there's 4 headliners. Casey Rocket, this could be the Thursday. On Friday, it's Kerryn Feehan, Marcella Arguello. So there's 2 separate shows. And then on Saturday, Shane Torres is the other headliner.
We should probably say that JP Leonard is here with us today, although I already told you that in the intro.
Yeah.
But he's from Lafayette Comedy, guys. He's been on the show before. One of the reasons why Lafayette is the premier comedy location in Louisiana. This man, and he's bringing a new festival to Lafayette.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, it's happening no matter what. Yeah, I don't know. Unless something happens, unless a hurricane comes through, and that would probably save me money. But no, it's happening. Lafayette Comedy Festival, our first one. We did like a little impromptu festival last year. We did a 420 fest just because we had like a bulk of shows on 420 weekend. If you know 420, shout out. But no, we decided to do this has been in planning since pre-COVID, and I just didn't really COVID sidestepped it and everything, and so I kind of waited and decided, all right, this is the year, and planned it, and then you know how the world's been going this year, so
yeah,
right. Yeah.
Well, let's get some more shine on it. Luke, bring up that I think it's on the that Facebook page you had. There's your website, LafayetteComedy.com.
.com.
And then look at that. Casey Rocket, the wild boy himself.
Casey Rocket, yeah, he's unhinged. He's a good dude, man. I mean, people are weird on certain comedians because they only see like minute. He got popular for Kill Tony, but he's been doing it 10+ years. Mm-hmm. He's headlining all over, so we get him like the night before he does a whole weekend at the Improv in Houston.
Very cool.
So yeah.
So that's August 7th through the 9th.
Yep.
Where's it at?
So we got 10 shows, 3 days. So we're doing the majority of the shows at Club 337 inside the DoubleTree is where we bring all our big headliners. And then during the day on Saturday, we're doing 2 shows because we do some showcase shows at Gator Cove, the old Gator Cove, Wildcat Brothers Distillery. And so we're doing a brunch show that Tyler Arsenault is going to host called Serial Killers. And he's been wanting to do that. So we're going to serve cereal. We'll have, and it won't be the good stuff, I'll tell you that. A lot of cereal in bags, but we're going to have, it's free cereal if you come. The Gator Cove Wildcat people still got to have a full bar. So if you want rum-infused milk, then they'll do that for you. If you want to get turnt, before noon, that'd be great.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, and then we'll do our podcast live from there around 2 p.m., and then we all roll back to the DoubleTree Club 337 for the rest of the shows.
Very cool. I'm excited to see it in action. We need to get the word out. Folks, go tell a friend who loves comedy. Everyone loves comedy these days. Go tell a friend. Come down August 7th through the 9th, Lafayette Comedy Festival.
Yeah, Lafayette Comedy Festival. I kept it easy.
Yeah, simple.
I was going to call it like Gator Fest or Squirrel something, and I was like, no, Lafayette Comedy Festival.
Who does the Couillon Fest?
That's John Merrifield with Oof Comedy. So we co-produced that. That's his thing he started, but we've co-produced it the last 3 years, just because we kind of join the scenes together and then gets it out there, and so yeah, it's been fun.
How do you how does that work? Like a partnership like that, trying to develop a show. What's kind of the challenges that come with that?
Well, with him, it's like me, him, and Tyler. We're kind of like, all right, let's talk about this, what we want. Who else can we bring? I'm like, what about so-and-so? Then they bring out people, and then, yeah, we just kind of put it together and just kind of throw all hits together. But I just kind of lean to John for that because that's his baby. And then this one is just, just Lafayette Comedy is just me. So it's like, all right, well, here we go. And I just started looking for, to build a real comedy festival, you got to build it around headliners, and we're different. Most comedy festivals, you have to submit like $25, $35, $45, and then
As a comedian,
if you want to perform, not the headliners, like just normal people, normal comedians, and then abnormal comedians, and then as a panel who watches them, like I've helped a few festivals like watch it, but you will get 200 plus videos that you're just watching, and it's not beautiful. It's like an open mic for comedians to submit. But that helps festivals make their money because you don't have to rely on sponsors. You get all this, and then you choose who you want. This year we decided, like, first one, let's go ahead and do invite only. So every comedian, someone I reached out to, said, "Here's what we're doing. Do you want to be a part of it?" So yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
These camera angles are bothering me. Usually I have them lower. How do you shoot your podcast? We're dying down here?
Yeah, we're dying down here. Yeah, we do one like this, and then I used to do like a 3-cam mix when we'd set up on stage, but now we set up in front of the bar, so it's easy. So I just do it like that. So we used to do a shot for each person, but now I just essentially like this camera catches the guest and Tyler, and then the other camera would do the same. Yeah.
And do you? How consistent is that podcast?
Well, the problem is we started it and we only wanted national comedians. The people were coming through the DoubleTree, and we've done a few. We've done other shows, but if you don't have a run of people coming through, then you don't have any guests. I mean, we've done like a few other people, big national comedians, just to do it. We did want to promote Couillon Fest and everything like that. But so it just depends when people come through, and then also it depends, are both of us available too, and then does the comedian want to do it, so.
Walk me through the experience of like a national comedian, let's say like a Louis J. Gomez, coming in to do a show or two at the DoubleTree.
Yeah.
What's that process like from him getting into an argument at the airport?
That's a lot of it. Yeah. No, he's really chill these days. So basically it's just, either the comedians or the agents will hit me up and say, hey, we want to look at this. Or if I see them like, oh, you're doing Houston, hey, how about adding a date on, or you're doing Austin, how about adding a date on? And basically just going, all right, here's the places I can put you at. So I knew with Lewis, I only had that Thursday because we had something that Friday and Saturday. So I just said, hey, if you want to go different places, I can set you up right outside of Biloxi, and then we can go to Mobile, and so just go, all right, now loop in those people, hey, this is the deal. Everyone agrees to it, and you just kind of set it up. So we brought him this run because we had him last summer, and then he just recorded his new special this weekend, so he was still on that material. So a lot of times they don't want to go back to the same place if they're still working that material. So I brought him to Baton Rouge, Rally Cap, where I run shows, and then got a Mobile. So we did that, and then we drove to Biloxi, did that, and then I passed him off to someone to do Mobile. But yeah.
I've heard like Joe List and Mark Norman on Tuesdays with Stories talk about their experience with Lafayette Comedy.
Yeah.
And I've heard other comics talk about they love it because they're staying at that hotel.
Yeah, it's really easy. I say your green room's your hotel room. Yeah. Because we don't have official green room there. We got a little foyer you can hide in, but other than that, yeah, you just come down and, if you need to go back up, go back up.
I've heard rave reviews about the cookies.
Yeah, man. That's how I first got that show there. Like, this is probably 2017. They hit me up and then, hey, you want to run a monthly show here? And it was like a monthly Wednesday, and it wasn't well. But it's like, all right, we'll give you this much. This is the budget, And the guy, I was like, man, that sounds great. And the guy goes, anything else? And I was like, let's walk to that front desk. And I went home with like 10 cookies. And I was like, and I ate like 2 of them on the ride home. They used to be like 450 calories each. Now they're like 310. But I was just like, oh no, So free cookies. I mean, hey, I'll do anything. So.
Yeah, right. Tell me about a comics writer. Do you fill those?
Yeah. I handle all of that. So a lot of times I get the writers and I look over. A lot of times, if I know the comedian, I go, "Hey, do you need this?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Tell me what you want," because a lot of times they're pretty much standard and they give them to everybody. And so I had someone like a month ago, and I go, "Hey, I'm going to get this stuff. Any changes?" He's like, "Oh, don't get this, don't get this, get this. Don't worry about that." So it just depends because they go in a lot of places and there's just like nothing, So like, when Norman comes in, we just get like a bottle of some alcohol and try to kill it the whole night. And we do that. And yeah, it's good. Like, what else you need? So, yeah.
Have you had any wild requests?
No, man. I mean, I guess the hardest thing down here is when you have like vegan comedians come in. I'm like, okay, you can't eat anything at the hotel because I assume it has some type of animal product in it. So, we'll get like Thai food or something like that. Or like I'll go to the Whole Foods, pick them up some stuff.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. Nothing crazy. One comedian, Dusty Slade, and his writer said black towels. So I just text him. He's like, I don't need a towel. Okay, great. Good. We don't got black towels. So we got white towels. There you go. So.
Very interesting. Black towel. I wonder why.
I don't know.
Maybe
it's just
on stage.
Yeah, definitely on stage. But
black. Probably.
Oh yeah, and it's not so showy or whatever. But nothing crazy. I mean, sometimes hey, where can I get this? I'm like, all right, here. Or if they want cigars, like, all right, we'll go smoke cigars at the shop and come back. So
we were just talking about Lewis. Are you going to Skankfest?
I am possibly. I am waiting. There's the last bit of announcements for comedians, and so they did only their national, the big comedians right now. Mm-hmm. So we're waiting for the round. So hopefully I hear.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Because that's in November in New Orleans?
Yeah. It's at Mardi Gras World.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
First year they've done it in New Orleans, huh?
Yeah, because it's only existed. It started in New York. They did it in Vegas. I did it in Houston one year, then it went back to Vegas. So.
Have you ever gone?
No, I didn't. I never got a chance to go and just never planned for it. I was like, oh, if I get on it, great. So hopefully this is the first year.
It seems like it's never been a better and worse time for comedy.
Man, this year is rough, and I'll say it. This year has been rough. We've had cancellations. We've had comedians have to cancel. I had, one guy, we had 2 sold-out shows in one night, 600 tickets, canceled 2 weeks before. Of course, everyone gets mad at us. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not our doing. We're losing money on this thing, buddy, because we're, promo, and the venue's losing money, plus they have people scheduled. So you try to, like... You don't want to push the blame, but you're like, hey, so-and-so's schedule changed. That's why. I've had other ones just, we've had shows get canceled because of flights. We've had people cancel because they got movie roles. We've had shows canceled because they really had 0 sales. Just sometimes that happens, Sometimes you think someone's going to pop or they'll be, bigger, but just, it's weird. It's a weird year. This is the roughest year since I've been doing since 2015 as far as shows and cancellations and everything else. And
you had some wild names that first year.
Oh yeah, that was the Segura and Bargatze and Stanhope and all those people, Yeah. And so maybe and coming out 21, 22 was huge. That's where it like exploded. That was the Gillis years and the Harlan Williams and Greg Fitzsimmons and all that. Miss Pat, and then it's like, all right, so this year was kind of a rebound, and then, but we got Miss Pat coming back in October, so hopefully that rocks.
Well, let's talk again about Lafayette Comedy Festival. Sell me on Lafayette Comedy Festival. You can even sell it to that camera right there.
Well, okay, so it's 10 shows. I'm not gonna look at the camera. I'm gonna keep looking at you. I do this thing, like when I do sets, I don't make eye contact with people. Like I have this thing where I can like defocus my eyes, where I look like I'm looking right at you, but I don't even see your face. I just look right over, just kind of blur. Anyway,
do you like find like the forehead or?
Yeah, I just kind of like I can look at your bangs, or I'll just kind of like look in between you, But like every night I want to make contact with people, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Lafayette Comedy Festival, August 7th, 8th, and 9th. 10 shows. 3 days. So we start off selling weekend passes. And a weekend pass, it's $100 that gets into every show. So if you factor it out, that's $10 a show. So that's $10 to see Casey Rocket, $10 to see Shane Torres, Kerryn Feehan, Marcella Arguello, all that. We do a VIP where you get the first, because we always do VIP tickets. People like the first 3 rows. They like to be close. So that's a little more, like $125, total. But again, you divide that by 10, you're paying $12.50. That's right, math, per show, which is ridiculous. We also have day passes, so if you just can only come on Thursday or Saturday, you can get the whole day pass, and then we now selling the individual show passes. So if you want to see Casey Rocket, you only want to see Kerryn Feehan, you can buy a ticket just for that show. So we start on Friday. We're doing Casey Rocket. He kicks us off, and then that's at 7. Then we have a 9:00 show. It's called Best of the Fest, where we're putting like some of the best comedians on the festival on this showcase. On Friday, we start off with we have Kerryn Feehan and Aaron Putnam. They tour together. I had him here last year. But then we also have a bunch of other people on the show. That's the first show. Second show is Marcella Arguello, who is killer. I think she's like 6'2", 6'3". She's from New York. She has a special out on HBO. She is just amazing. So that show is packed. And then that night, our late show is You Look Like Roast Battle, which we just did this past weekend at Michael's Men's Club. 100+ people in Michael's Men's Club before 8:30, before the action gets going, if you know what I'm saying. And that was great. Yeah, it's crazy. So we got that coming back. And so that's going to round out Friday night. And then Saturday at 11, we start at Gator Cove with the brunch show, Serial Killers, the podcast at 2. And it's very informal, like whoever's going to be there and everything. And then Saturday night at 6, we have another Best of the Fest, kind of get it going. At 8 o'clock is Shane Torres. He was here with Bert Kreischer last time they did the Cajun Dome. We've had Shane 5 times, I think. Bert Kreischer produced his last special and everything. And then that night at 10, we're doing the Stone versus Drunk versus Sober Championships. So it's packed with the people who've won the most, and that's going to close us out,
Yeah, I was just talking to I had a contractor at my house this morning, and he was asking me what I was doing today, and I said I was interviewing a guy from Lafayette Comedy. He goes, "Oh, man, I went to that Stone versus Drunk Sober show, and it was awesome." Me and my wife went. They loved it.
It's killer, man. So right now it's trying to like sell the whole package. Like, yeah, it'd be great if you can do the whole thing, but individual day shows. But everything's been so slow. So everything's like, for normal shows, like, usually the majority of ticket sales, unless they sell in advance, is the 2 days leading up and the day of, but with a big festival, you're right, and so many people, we have 35+ regional comedians, plus the headliners. So you're trying to, get everything and set up and make sure everyone's taken care of. The green room will have food and, we'll get some drinks and all that. It's just a lot to tackle. Then advertising. So, besides doing local stuff like this, next week ads run on Sirius XM and then run on podcasts, so trying to hit those nationwide ones, but focusing in this area. So it's just a hassle right now because you're fighting the economy, and I get it, but we're rolling.
But we got to laugh, folks.
Yeah, I mean, but you're also laughing. You're there. Comedy is the best thing in the world because as long as you don't go into a show and have your side, as long as you go, hey, look, they're gonna poop. I almost said the kind of. I don't know,
yeah,
they're gonna shit on left. They're gonna shit on right. So that's fine. Just don't take anything personal. I think the last couple of years with comedy getting so big and podcasts and getting political, everyone goes in there and one little thing offends them. And it's crazy. We had this lady walked out because the comedian was doing a bit about being gay. That offended them, but not their other jokes that was just equally as raunchy. So just don't take it personally. Laugh. I mean, you're supposed to laugh if you're on team left, you're supposed to laugh when people shits on that team, and if you're on team right, do the same, but
yeah,
I don't know. And there's some people that also realize that some people just don't come to comedy. There's some people in this town who've never been to a comedy show. We get that for like Stone versus Drunk, that's our biggest showcase. We'll get 150 people there, and at the beginning always say who's been to the show before, who has it, and the majority of the time it's brand new people. So there's no comedy clubs for them to get practice on unless you go to Houston or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing too. It's like, hey, you come in, you're gonna laugh. That's what it's for,
And now, you have in the age of social media and reels and, comedians trying to just get their name out there, they don't want to burn their material, so they're putting all these crowd work clips and whatnot. And I think it's kind of trained audiences. Sorry, breaking my stuff, JP.
Sorry, I'm good for that.
I don't know if you are. So, but do you find that crowds, because of the crowd work phenomena, feel like they're entitled more to participate?
Yeah, you get some people who just don't understand social cues, and they're the same people who talk and text on their phones at the movies, and their brightness is up, 3,000%. You get those who just think they're there and they're the entertainment, and when you get people doing crowd work. A good comedian can get everyone into crowd work and then back it out okay, now we're kind of getting into it. But I mean, we don't have many problems. I think over the last 10 years that I've been running these shows, I've kicked about maybe 10 people out. And that's just really people who are just blatantly disrespectful of the comedians. You got to go,
Yeah.
We had someone who we let in we had Dusty Slay, 2 sold out shows one night, and her and her boyfriend were at the bar and talking, and I asked them to be quiet twice, and she's like, really? And I said, yes, it's a comedy show. Also, we were sold out, and we let them in at the end. I had some people that didn't show up, so hey, yeah, I can get you in, sold them tickets. And then I said, look, I'm sorry, but if this continues, we're going to have to ask you to leave. She's like, who's going to kick me out, you? And I was like, if I have to. And she goes, I want to see you do it. And I looked at her boyfriend. I was like, dude, work with me here. And he didn't say anything. He was just kind of embarrassed. And she said something again. I was like, okay, let's go. And then we just walked out the door, and she didn't argue. I think she just wanted to be escorted out. I don't know. So I was like, okay, bye. Go hang out in the lobby. Go get a cookie.
Wild behavior.
Yeah.
Man, back to kind of the ticket sale conversation. Luke, you can turn your mic on and contribute to this. So Luke, the producer of this show, he books for this band Criers. Mm-hmm. You know that band?
They just did the Rock and Roll, right?
Yeah. And so, Luke, you could probably attest to that feeling JP has right now, where ideally you want to sell these tickets ahead of time, but oftentimes it's just a couple days or day of, right?
Oh yeah. It's crazy, and Lafayette's such a weird crowd. This is the second time we played Rock and Roll. The first time we had 100 more walk-ups. We had about 200 pre-sales and then 300 walk-ups, right? So it was a good show.
Yeah.
This past one, we had 2 days out. We had 300 pre-sales. A day out, it jumped by 100, and then the day of jumped by 150, and we ended up with 300 walk-ups.
That's great.
And then you play Feed and Seed, and we had 50 pre-sales, and then 300 people are in there. Lafayette's such an unpredictable crowd, and it's hard to gauge.
I think we get spoiled when I bring in people Mark Norman, Dusty Slay, Tim Meadows. We sold out those shows. The Cam Patterson shows were sold out 4 months ahead of time. So when that happens, it's that's what you want, but you can't rely on that. But you kind of get a little spoiled when that happens. You don't want to. We got Bobcat. Goldthwait coming. Not this weekend. Next weekend. We've already 100+ tickets. That's great. I know we're safe on that. That's gonna look great. And then you get some others that are 4, and you're who? But I get it. Some people. I'm a nerd for comedy. If I already got my Shane Gillis tickets for September in Houston, that's stuff I plan around. And so a lot of people, I get it. It's last minute things, and summer and slows down, but it doesn't help my stress level, buddy. So, and I have not been sleeping good. So I just went to Costco, bought some more whiskey. So I'll be sleeping tonight.
It'd be nice if you could just book for Shane,
Yeah. I'm gonna tag him, see if he can share it. I'll be like, look, Kerryn Feehan, she's in tires. Come on, share that for me. Just need one share, buddy. If you get me 50 ticket sales, it'd be great.
Remember when I had you at the beer garden back in?
No, we had Shane at DoubleTree.
Oh yeah, okay.
He thought he went on Segura's podcast. Before he actually came here, which actually came out after it, but he's like, yeah, and then I'm doing a tent in Lafayette, and I'm like, look, and when that came out, I'm like, because we went to the beer garden after, he goes, I thought I was performing here. I'm like, no, dude, no, no, come on, So, but yeah, good dude.
That's funny. Well, enough about comedy. Let's find out. Let's find out more about JP and his South Louisiana roots.
Oh, all right.
So tell folks where you're from. Where'd you grow up?
I am from Morgan City, Louisiana.
Do you count St. Mary Parish as Acadiana?
Man, I don't think I've ever thought about that. I guess no, maybe, I don't know.
Because it's
I really don't, because
it's from like a market sense. It's from my TV days. It's part of the 9 parish region that the Lafayette TV market is in.
I don't. It's not as Acadiana pride full as here, So I never would do it. Yeah, so never consider it. I grew up in Morgan City, and I lived most of my childhood in Stevensville. I don't know if that is. So you got the big lake, Lake Pelluer, but we call it Lake Polluted. But you go around, and it's like back there going, And I grew up on a bayou. When I tell people, like, yeah, I had a pet duck. When you were getting bicycles, I was getting a 3-wheeler, not a 4-wheeler, a 3-wheeler.
What was the duck's name?
Susie.
Oh.
Yep. Had her since she hatched, and we would take baths together.
Susie Q. The Q stands for quack.
No, just Susie. Sorry.
I'm riffing here.
Yeah, all right. Boo. No, I had Susie. I grew up with living in a boat. Just get in the boat and paddle and fish.
What kind of boat?
Catch alligators. Just aluminum boat. One of my uncles made for my grandma.
Nice.
If I had a trolling motor, I would use the trolling motor until it died, and then I just had to paddle back. But it would suck. I was stupid. But yeah, I'd catch alligators and all that, turtles. Race 3-wheelers and all that. So I grew up on a bayou. My grandma built a house next to us, and it was like a neighborhood they built in bayou. So we always had snakes and all kind of stuff because there was just a field across the house. But yeah, I grew up there, then moved back in like middle elementary back to Morgan City proper, and lived there until I was 18 and escaped.
What was the? Did you have a corner store that you frequented?
Oh, yeah. So in Stevensville, there's one right on the highway where the levee's at in the boat launch. So you have to pay your fee there in order to go. So that I used to ride my bike from the back of the neighborhood, a mile and a half, go in there because I would buy slush puppies, and they'll let you make your own slush puppies. So I put 4 squirts of every flavor, instant diarrhea. It was great. And just get stuff like that. And then when I moved to a part of Morgan City called Lakeside, Bernie's was this corner store, and one of my buddies stole from there while we were there, and that man got so mad at us, and I was like, I am sorry, I didn't know he did this. It was real chill because I'd ride my bike there to go get my mom cigarettes, I'm like, I'm not gonna smoke Virginia Slims. And then I tried getting her to quit, so I would return them, and then I was like, hey, mom wants to return these, and then I'll just keep the money.
You could return cigarettes?
Again, this is Morgan City a long time ago. And then I worked at a supermarket called Lakeside Supermarket, and then that was just mayhem, so I can do whatever I want there. So.
What was the job title at the supermarket?
I started as a stock boy, stocking shelves, bagging groceries.
Man, not to cut you off, but I actually the other day was like daydreaming, infatuated about just stocking shelves. Like if I didn't have to worry about doing all this and I could just clock in, listen to a podcast or music all day and stock shelves.
I have a little OCD that when I'm in a grocery store, because you have to front the shelves. You pull everything to the front, looks beautiful, labels same way. I will turn labels. I don't care. Like I'll be like, nope. Your cream corn should be right here. Everyone's regular, But I'll turn them. So I did that, and then I moved to the meat department. And so I would, kind of help clean up. I caught the meat department on fire one time cleaning up because it was a short when I was cleaning. So I was spraying the water. That was fun. And then they were it was very mom and pop. So we would process like hogs and deer. And so after hours. And so since I had to clean all the machines, I knew the secret where you had the grinder. And so it was probably like that long. And so I'd be like, oh, yep, got everything out. And then I would process everything, and they would leave. And I'll just like a couple pounds and I'll just go home and make, deer hamburgers or something like that. I did that. And then I started driving groceries. And then so our main business was selling to like offshore companies like Tidewater and all these companies for all the tugboats and the boats going out. So you do all the groceries and deliver those, and you go, 15, 16, going to a boat with just men who work offshore who are not seeing women in a few days. So you get on the boat and they're watching porn, and you're just like, they're like, yeah, come hang out with us. So, okay, this is weird. Your groceries are in a van. I'll get them, and then, yeah. So I did all that.
Come on in. This is the best part.
Yeah. Oh, Pam. But I did all that. So that was my high school. So I had to get special permission to work. As soon as I graduated 8th grade, I started working that summer, and I worked from when I was 14 till I was 18 till I moved here.
What high school?
Morgan City High.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to create a Netflix show a la Tires, but set it in some sort of South Louisiana business, what would be the perfect setting in your mind?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Man, I'm trying to. I relate it to things that I've done. Like a grocery store would be cool. I worked at a music store, like mom and pop music store back in the day. That would be kind of cool. Even like a little. Like a boot ass shop, since I just went to Billy's. Something like that. That would be kind of cool. Something kind of unique. It'd have to be something different that people don't get to see.
Right.
What about a car wash?
A car wash? Which one? No, I got
I'm a dozen around
I'm
here.
going to start a series in Legends, and each episode we're in a different Legends. That will get me 10 episodes. That's the whole season. So there you go.
Yeah. By the time next season rolls around, there'll be 10 more Legends.
I love Legends so much.
Yeah,
so
same.
yeah. And so I always use that. I use them for a joke. And I talk about like seeing two people in traffic. They both had Jeeps. It's a joke about me shitting on people with their stupid ducks on their Jeeps. No offense, but I don't like you.
This unrelated, Carter. What do you have outside?
Oh,
right
sorry.
I'm currently driving a lime green Jeep with a bunch of ducks in it that I'm borrowing from my mother while I buy a new car.
Okay, see, that's fine. You borrowed it for your mother. Shout out, moms.
Shout out, Mom. She listens. She's going to love this.
She's a mother goose. Anyway,
I tell her she's in a cult,
Yeah. So anyway, my joke, I say like, I don't know where these people go on. Probably Legends Johnson Street or Legends Bertrand. And then I pull out a piece of paper and I name all the legends because I can't remember. But yeah,
That's funny.
that'd be fun. Yeah.
That probably doesn't play in Houston.
No, I've not only done it here. I have to think of something else. Or just get rid of that. That little tag in there.
Do you have like space in your act whenever you're going to a place out of town or not from here that you try to incorporate the local area, like at the top of the show, anything like that?
Sometimes, like usually I'll learn. Like I just got back. We did a weekend in Florida. I know some places over there that is like, okay, this. Basically, I look for what is their version of New Iberia. That's So in Houston, I know I can make fun of where's Bucky's at when you go into before Katy, the Baytown. So Baytown's a good punchline. I always use like if I'm in Panama City or Pensacola, I'll say like Defuniak Springs. I just know that from someone. But when I said it, we did the theater with Mark Norman in Pensacola, and I said Defuniak Springs as a punch, and it hit so hard. I was like, oh, okay. Basically, I get there, I'm like, what's your New Iberia? And yeah, that's it. So
what is the New Iberia of your region?
Yes.
That's a good baseline.
Yeah.
God bless the Barry. So yeah, something like that. So you said you worked in a little mom and pop music store?
Yeah. I worked at Toys Music.
What's you hear the joke about like the amount of times you hear like Stairway to Heaven or something like that. But was there anything that it was like clockwork? You would hear someone playing on the guitar?
Oh no! This was we sold CDs and vinyl and all that. It wasn't instruments.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so so we had listening stations, so I never heard it. So
bro, I met I was in New Orleans a few weeks ago at the New Orleans Jazz Museum. To kick off this Clifton Chenier tribute album that the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like they're reading off some like the people who helped support the album, and they said Mr. SquarePants, and Tom Kenny was there, the voice of SpongeBob.
Nice.
And apparently, I was talking to him after the show. I can put a picture in post, but I was like, what brought you to supporting Clifton Chenier and Zydeco? And he was like, man, I'm a music nerd. I grew up going to music stores and just like
there you go.
just getting a bit at a record shop and just finding cool records, and it just hit his heart and came down to support.
That's what. So Dave Hubble had Toys Music, which was a block off from Borton Ice Cream on Stewart Street, and I would say the whole shop was this area here. It was so tiny. He had like corn to an in-store sign-in. People couldn't even come in. He had to sign through a window. But that little place was so tiny, and so I would just go hang out. I was just a music nerd, and I'll go hang out before I went to work. And then it moved over by Jason's Deli on Brothers, where Brothers was at in the Boulevard, and then it moved over by the Plaza where that new car wash is at. I worked all those places, and I would just. But talking about like finding stuff, like we'll get like promo stuff, and that's how I discovered Nothing Face, and then I played it for Hubble, and then he would play it on the radio because it was a radio show. Then it blew up, and they started coming here. So it's some of my favorite acts I found in a bin that was thrown away. Actually, when we were next to the Jason's Deli, they were finishing some buildings, and we had so many CDs that were just like trash. Instead of throwing them away, I would get bored, and I'll take all the CDs like Hellraiser style, and I would throw them, and would see how far we can throw them. And so there was an empty place, and it was just dirt, but they had this, the ceiling, the roof, the walls, and so we would just throw them against the back wall and see how many we can break. And now that's where my buddy's barber shop is at, Seawolf Barber, Chris Sons. And I was like, do you know how many CDs are under this building right now? Because I would just toss them. Yeah, great time. So I listened to them like, no, this sucks. Shoom, gone.
Is there an art to? I mean, do you still go to like Lagniappe Records downtown or?
No, I don't have any physical media anymore. Actually, the last time I was there, I took my kid. She started getting vinyl, and so I was like, "Here we go." And then you get back into it. But yeah, I don't have any physical. I used to have like 3,000 plus CDs, and I got rid of them all, traded them in, and everything. So I'm a digital nerd,
So back then, is there an art to finding the perfect record?
Man, I would take chances. On covers, like album covers. If you got a cool album cover, I'm gonna listen to you. Then you start learning record labels. Flip to the back, you learn producers, or like, I was a Pearl Jam nut back in the day. So if like one of the band members farted on someone's album, I had it. So that's how you just get into stuff. But yeah, it was really just kind of like once you start learning what record labels you like, what producers, all that, that was basically my way, trial and error.
Is Rick Rubin's philosophy a bunch of bullshit?
I don't know. I just got fit. So a couple weeks ago, I watched the Beastie Boys documentary, and he was big in their career, and then it was kind of falling out. And like apparently they were like something with Money, him and Def Jam and all that or whatever. So I don't know. He's on so much stuff. I mean,
But it seems like he's not a musician. I don't think he even runs the board or anything. He's just a
just
vibes guy.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's bull because before I did comedy, I played music for like 14 years, and I was the same. Like I would tell people, like, you share with bands and stuff, and you listen to songs like, hey man, what about this? Like, I don't even need to know how to play your song. It's like, it's just input, So I guess it's also having that ear, but I mean, he's made some amazing stuff over the years. So I guess he's okay. Right. The rest of the meditating and not wearing shoes, I mean, whatever. He's got the hair for it. I believe him.
Did growing up in your house, did you have no shoes when you entered the house philosophy?
Oh no, but I barely wore shoes, especially like growing up over there. But no, it was just don't make sure they're not muddy.
How strong are your feet?
Like smelling or
no?
Oh, okay.
Like because you walked around barefoot all the time.
Oh, then it was fun. I mean, because you step all over everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we go swimming. I remember like being okay at the swimming down the bottom bayou, touching the bottom. Now, like we were in Florida a couple weeks ago. I have some water shoes, they like there's some Crocs.
Yeah.
Like these I used to wear for fishing, but they like, there's a cap over the toe. That's the only way I'm touching the bottom,
Where did you go on vacation as a kid?
Oh man, we would, when I raced 3-wheelers and my dad had dirt bikes, we would go to this place called Chipola, which I don't remember where it's at. It's either like northern Louisiana or another state or something like that. I'll have to Google that. But we would go there. We would go to, I remember going as a kid, like to Yogi Bear land. Was it something like with Yogi Bear?
Oh yeah, it's like a outdoor park.
Yeah.
RV park. It's in Robert.
Yeah. I remember going that. My grandpa had a camper, like a motor home, which was like, that's still my goal in life. But I remember just going to random places, I don't remember too many vacations as a kid,
I just went for 4th of July weekend. They had some bunch of buddies. They have RVs, and we went to the RV park in Henderson.
Yeah.
Margaritaville.
Nice.
That was a good time.
Last one I went, me and a comic from New Orleans, we would go camping like the summer of COVID. We were so like anxious to hang out. And I was like, my wife's like, well, go camping. That's safe. And I was like, okay. And so we went camping mid-July, like stupid hot. And so it was like 85 at night. Well, and but we did it, man. And so about 2 years ago, I just rented a camper, went pick it up in Mandeville, and then put it to the park, and we just stayed inside in the AC. So
it's my stomping grounds, the North Shore.
Yeah.
You ever perform over there?
There used to be a place called Hideaway Arcade. My buddy Josh Watts was booking comedy over there, so I've done that a few times. And we've routed some national comedians through there. There's a place called Interference Sports Bar that you can still smoke in.
Oh, yeah.
So we do shows over there. That's always a wild, crazy show. And no one's got staff, and that's good. Yeah, a few other places over there. There's a brewery over there, but yeah, every now and then I'll pop up, do some shows over there.
You've done Sports Drink?
Yeah, yes, numerous times. I'm actually recording me and Tyler are both headlining it next month, and we're recording a 30-minute special each. So they're doing this series where they're recording a bunch of comedians each month. And so, yeah, we're doing that next month. I just did it probably a month ago. I did a whole weekend there, opening for a comedian I love, Emily Contalano. Then me and Tyler's headlining. We did their festival there with Sean Patton. And then in like November, I got them hooked up with Mark Norman. And so we did like 2 shows in one night. And that place, you can fit 40 people, and we put like 60 people in per show. It was crazy.
Mark did that room?
Yeah.
God, he'll do any room.
He will. He will. It was supposed because he was in town because it was after he was doing the Orpheum the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So we were going to do the Sunday. Then he's like, can't do the Sunday. So they moved it to Wednesday the night before. And so it was bonkers. Yeah, it's cool. And they just bought a firehouse like in the area off Magazine Street, and they're opening a comedy club that's going to start. Cool. So yeah, so probably next year, hopefully everything gets running, but it's pretty cool.
It's a tough comedy city.
It is. Sports Street came about in the time where New Orleans needed it most because they lost a few venues. So Vincent Zambon ran a show, The Dragon's Den, which was like, when I booked Todd Barry, Todd would go do that show. And it can only hold like 75, 80 people, but he'll do 2 shows because it was just a good room. So Dragon's Den closed. Hi-Ho got new management. They changed everything, so they lost that. There was another place that had closed. And so with all this going on, people were losing shows, and Sports Drink was like, hey, it was kind of perfect timing. And that dude loves comedy, Andrew, who runs it. And so they kind of filled in all that, and it's really kind of taken off. They had a Toledano, which is the street they're on, comedy festival about a month or so ago, and they did multiple venues, 3 days, and we got to do the first night, which was like crazy storms, 2 inches of water in the street. Great. We leave, then it turns beautiful the next day. But yeah, it was crazy. So they're doing it good, and they kind of, other than that, if you're gonna if there's gonna be good comedy in New Orleans, like big shows, it has to be like the big theaters, But he'll still get some crazy, awesome comedians come in for the weekend, and so it's a great place that's needed.
You mentioned that whenever when you're performing, you don't look people in the eye. Yeah. Is that a little easier to accomplish in a theater?
Oh yeah, definitely, because with the lights, because you're just looking out and you're just looking at a blur, it's like you're literally a deer in the headlights, every now and then you move to the side, you can see someone and you're like, hey, look at that. But yeah, so that's way easier, because you're just performing to people. But like, DoubleTree, or like we do shows that, we've been doing shows at Fat Pat's, the Broussard and the Brobridge location, and then Shane's Quesadilla Burgers on Congress. You can't hide from those people. So you're just like, hey, I know you're eating sweet potato fries, but here's my butt,
You've done some shows at Adopt a Dog?
Yeah, we run monthly shows. Well, we're probably quarterly over there right now. Okay. So yeah, we do a Wednesday night show. We just had one a couple weeks ago. It was rescheduled because it's been crazy storming, and even though we're outside and they got the covered patio, it was light and everything. Yeah. But we did that one, so we're back there in September and I think November. We're doing Shane's Quesadilla Burgers. We're doing Gator Cove. We're doing the Fat Pats, and then
y'all do what does y'all do that upstairs at Shane's?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so they only open that just for like events. So it's pretty cool because they still have like people eating downstairs with their family. So they got it where it's like it's not a problem. But it's cool. We'll pack it out, and they love it. They're like, this is great. Same thing. We just sold out the Fat Pats in Brobridge last week. Had a great show. We're doing shows at Rally Cap in Baton Rouge, which is fun. And then, I'm still bringing the Stone versus Drunk versus Sober show on the road. So we just did Lake Charles this weekend. I brought it to Dallas, Fort Worth, Pineville. We're doing shows in Pineville. Who would have thought? So, yeah.
What makes a good room?
It's a certain feeling, One, some places don't even have stages,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, that's not even a problem. If you got a little stage, a platform to stand on, great. But if not, you can make it. It's really just the setup and the arrangement and the sound and, all those factors. Plus, you got to deal with, the staff that's there, understanding that, hey, you can't be, yelling out orders during a show or something like that. You got to help us police the crowd, make sure they're not talking too loud. If you go take an order, yeah, you got to keep taking orders, but you got to keep it down, I mean, we did a show not too long ago where like the kitchen staff was so loud and one dude's playing his little switch, and at like full volume and you hear this, I'm like, dude, like just come on. So, that's the things for rooms, it's, and then you take in sound, lights, the look at everything. I have a lot of lights I bring with me. I have my own PA and everything. So I can make the room look good as much as I can, except like we've been doing these 7:00 shows during the summer and it's full daylight. You're just roasting, by the time the last comedian's on, it's just getting dark. So I'm like, we need to start changing these. So like we got a show this Thursday at Chez Lafayette, which is downtown by the courthouse. We did one there right before Mardi Gras. And that's outside, so you can control as much as you can, other than the weather and, someone on the street or whatever. But I mean, we're used to outside. So just getting that environment and everything, like, let me set up my PA, let me put my lights, and then hope for the rest.
Yeah, Tyler when he was on the show, he was telling us like horror stories of performing in daiquiri shops, and it's like, it's some of those shows. It's like you're bombarding people with a comedy show that they didn't expect it.
Yeah, it's a flash mob of dick jokes. Is essentially what it is.
Emphasis on flash.
Yeah, emphasis on flash. Sorry, man. No. Yeah, there's places where like, the good thing is that like the Fat Pat shows, the Shane shows, the Adopt a Dog. We're running the shows. They're letting everyone know, hey, there's this. So if you get there to eat, instead of you're sitting on the patio at Adopt a Dog, hey, let you know there's a comedy show at 7:30. At 7, we're gonna start. We're already selling tickets, but at 7, if you're not staying for the show, you'll need to transition to inside or leave. We don't want to, but like letting everyone know that, hey, we just don't want to surprise you, and that's the worst. So like the Fat Pat shows, they have a enclosed patio that's real nice, climate control. They have signs up, hey, you're here for the show? Okay. Oh, you're not? Well, you can sit in the restaurant. Oh, wait, we didn't know there's a show. We want to go in. Well, let's see if we have seats, So that's good. But yeah, I hate shows that are just like, hey, you're here drinking, then here's a comedy, I mean, we've done some shows, we remember Dick's Daiquiris on Kali Saloon. They actually do a show there, and I was so happy because I got to call it Dick's Jokes. I'm like, that just writes itself. And we only did 2 shows, and I'm like, your crowd doesn't want this because you got standards. yeah, you got people who are here and they just want to do this, So like when we did shows at Legends. We started doing the one downtown. They had just reopened, remodeled, and everything, and that was like on a Thursday night. So everything was fine for that one. And then we moved it to Legends Pub, the old Bob's Pub, which I used to live at when I played music. So I was like, this would be a great room for comedy.
Low ceilings,
that weird stained glass ceiling, which I still love. That still works. And it was, it was a free open mic. We still get people who didn't know, but okay, hey, look, hey, we got a show here. Go out in the patio.
Right.
But it wasn't just like, we're here and sorry, So, yeah, and some people don't understand that. They think, oh, you can do a show. I always say just because you can do a show doesn't mean you need to. And that once people learn that, it makes the shows better, And if you get it done in advance, people know what to expect. You put up signs. It makes everything better for everyone.
Well, JP, I appreciate you coming on. I know we're trying to hustle, get some tickets sold for Lafayette Comedy Fest. But I appreciate your time. As we get kind of wrapping up here, what I've been doing with my guests is I've been asking them to fill their go bag, spelled the way you would think it'd be spelled in South Louisiana. Yeah, nailed it. But it's 3 items that if you had to get out of town that you can take with you that will remind you of home. What would be those 3 items?
Remind me of home, or like something I would need from here?
No, just something to remind you of home that like you're never coming back to Louisiana.
Oh man, moisture wicking underwear. No, I would say, man, that's hard, man.
I know I need to start sending the guests this question beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, remind me of home. I mean, I guess I would take Tabasco. That would be because that's just a staple. Um, I don't know. I'm not. I'm very weird as I get older. I don't hold on to things. I'm not like, oh, I need this kind of gung ho thing, you know. So I don't know. I guess it's just everything for me would just be stuff that I've been doing, because I mean that just takes all my time, you know.
Yeah.
So
Your laptop.
yeah, my laptop.
Camera.
Yeah, I take my dogs and all that, but I don't know. I think about it because me and my wife talk about moving away. Like if we moved away, what would I miss, you know? And that's, you know, just as I get older, there's not much stuff that I'm like, oh, I can't live without this, you know. And if I need it, I can have it shipped, I guess. You know, but
Minus the people.
minus the people, yeah. Yeah, there's a few things that I would miss in this town that you wouldn't find anywhere else, but I guess you find replaces it, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Going back to your hot sauce, do you keep your hot sauce in the fridge or out the fridge?
Out the fridge. I just read an article, and there's a weird thing on Google Chrome, and now I start seeing like recommended websites, and mine's like cameras, working out, bourbon, whiskey, and some weird food. And one was article on hot sauce, and it was like, should you keep it in the fridge or not? And I have this argument with my wife, and I'm like, no, it stays on the table. Also, like mayo and ketchup couldn't stay on the table. Look at every restaurant you go into. Like it's room temperature, you know, as long as you don't put it in the fridge and go back. But they had a guy from Tabasco plant, and he says, no, he goes, it'll discolorate over time. It won't be as red, because I always see that. It gets all kind of weird pale. He goes, but it's made to stay out. You're fine. So
okay.
yeah. I got a bottle in my car right now, so that gets up to 100-something degrees, you know.
Good to know. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Potato salad in the gumbo or out the gumbo?
Oh, and the gumbo. Yeah, definitely. It has to sit on top and slowly become one, but yeah.
Do you dust your crawfish?
So they should be cooked with the spice, but I also like that extra on top.
Yeah.
And I'm a sauce man, so when I make my own, we live not too far from Crawfish Time on Ridge. So when I make my sauce, you got the mayo, you got the ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, the garlic sauce. They got a horseradish. I put everything in there. I get it like where you'll hurt after eating it, and that's my favorite.
Gun to your head, could you spell Worcestershire?
I'm dead. Starts with a W. I couldn't. No, wait, who does it?
Yeah, right.
I can't even spell Lee and Perrin. You know, I don't know if there's one R or two R. So,
well, man, give people some advice. Best way to support Lafayette comedy right now.
oh man, so that, like, if you like comedy, just come out, check out the shows. Look at LafayetteComedy.com. We're on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all that. Check out the shows. You'll find something. Take a chance, you know. Don't make your first show an open mic, because you're going to see 20 people, and you may see great people, and you may see the worst people. You may see people who've never done comedy, whatever. So try to pick another show. Pick something you like. Look at our lineup. You'll find someone you know, Bobcat from Police Academy or Miss Pat and all these people. Go out to shows. You don't have to break the bank. We never have any drink minimums. It's not like a, big comedy club, 2-item minimum. You gotta have another $50 on top. You don't drink, great, whatever, just come on out, and watch some shows. And another thing too, is if you ever want to try stand-up comedy, I mean, come do it. You got to start at open mics. That's how you get started. Oof Comedy runs one on Tuesdays at Cité des Arts, and go watch one or two if you're interested in doing it. We got a little page on our website that tells you all the tips and everything, and you just get out there and do it. It's not, you can only practice a little bit at home but you have to get out there and either do well or do bad, and then decide, what do I want to do,
Yeah. Well, appreciate you guys. August 7th through the 9th.
August 7th, 8th, and 9th at Club 237 and Gator Cove here in Lafayette.
I want to see Casey.
Yeah, you got Casey Rocket, who's huge, from Kill Tony, Comedy Mothership. Kerryn Feehan, who's on Tires. She just put out a special, but it's her second season on Tires with Shane Gillis' show on Netflix. Marcella Arguello from HBO, all that, and then and Shane Torres, and then we got our Stone versus Drunk Championships, roast battle, and just showcases. And so you can't beat it. It's a great. There's never been a big comedy festival in Lafayette, and they don't. does it exist? So, other than what John is doing, this is a big one, bringing in the national headliners that you don't get normally, this many people in one weekend.
Yeah. I think it's going to be great for Lafayette and great for comedy, and I hope people can support it. LafayetteComedy.com?
Yep.
Cool. We can get you tickets. What was the, real quick, the roast battle? What's the worst you've ever been burned?
Oh, man. I'm not going to repeat that one. That one still hurts. I don't even want to repeat it. Tyler likes to say I look like Dave Attell if he ate all the cigarettes. That's what he said before when I was fatter. So, now I lost weight, I've kind of taken their advantage away. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's, someone said something about my wife. Like, someone says it looks like I hate my kids and my wife so much. I do comedy and I was in a band, and I was like, my wife would probably say, yeah, but no, I love them to death, but yeah, just never home. So,
because I'm a hack and I steal bits. So from Andrew Santino's Whiskey Ginger, I like to end the show the same way. Look at the camera right there, even though I know you hate staring at things and people in the eye, but there's not actually an eye there, just a lens.
I'm looking at its hair.
Yeah. Word, a phrase, advice, another plug, whatever you want to do to end this episode with. The floor is yours.
Oh, I like to say, don't half-ass anything, whole-ass everything.
Thanks for checking out this week's episode of Acadiana Cast Presents. Make sure to follow us, subscribe, be a part of the Acadiana Cast family wherever you're checking out this show. And if you liked what you saw or you liked what you heard from today's episode and you want to get involved in content creation or up your already ongoing projects, go to acadianacast.com to get started. We can help you from podcasts to live streams to social media reels, some graphic design and animation. Wherever you are in your content creation journey, we can help you out. Go to acadianacast.com to learn more, and we'll see you next time here on Acadiana Cast Presents.